Hey guys, what's up? Bob here. Welcome back to PICA. This is week 2, and it was an interesting week. So, before anything else happens, I'm going to explain to you what happened with my opponent. So, my opponent was the Jackson Jumpluffs, coached by p.i.c.a YouTube, or p.i.c.a. I don't know if he has the YouTube in his name, on his YouTube thing, but anyway. So, yeah, p.i.c.a ended up having to drop out of the tournament due to, personal issues, that I won't mention on here, just because, stuff happens, I get it. But, he kind of, well, he didn't tell me, he told Matt. So, he told, the guys in charge of PICA. So, what ended up happening was I had to play against Matt, aka one of the analysts. If you watch the p.i.c.a YouTube channel, then he's one of the guys from that. So, Matt is a very good battler. He made it to the playoffs in last season's, in last season. He was the, Washington Red Shells, which is an amazing name. And, yeah, he's very good. So, I was nervous. He took about at least a good half hour to make his team, which is more than I did. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and look at all of the stuff that he could have potentially brought, and then I'll explain what he did bring. So, p.i.c.a, or actually, I'm not going to say p.i.c.a, the Jackson Jumpluffs could potentially have brought Medicham, which was his Mega, Skarmory, Gyarados, Porygon 2, Galvantula, Escavalier, Seismitoad, Tyranitar, Kofagrigus, Nidoking, and Jumpluff. That's a really nasty lineup, I'm going to tell you that right now. They were low on the power rankings, but they could have potentially, beat anybody. I mean, you look at that team. Mega Medicham is one of the nastiest attackers in the game, just with those nasty dual stabs, and just good all-around stats and that amazing attack stat. You couple that with the fact that he has sticky webs in the form of Galvantula to potentially allow him to outspeed stuff, that's really brutal. Then you look at his walls. Porygon 2 and Skarmory, you're not going to really break that without something specifically dedicated to it. That is a really nasty wall lineup. Add on Seismitoad for just general utility, good kind of offensive presence, and an immunity. That's really nasty. Gyarados could potentially sweep in any number of ways. Tyranitar, another really underrated sweeper that could potentially just destroy things. Kofagrigus, another insane wall. Nidoking, if you put him with webs, he's going to break things. And even Jumpluff, I know that was kind of his he's my mascot, I'll just pick him if he's still around. That thing could potentially be a problem, just between, Sleep Powder and Leech Seed. That's not exactly something that's easy to deal with. So, his team is really nasty, honestly. So, what he ended up bringing, we'll bring that up now, I think, hopefully. Of course, Medicham. He brought Seismitoad, Escavalier, Galvantula, Kofagrigus, and Nidoking. That is a really nasty lineup. Not as much of the, not so much stuff that lives in OU, but still just brutal stuff. Medicham is always scary, just because a lot of my stuff can't really eat too many fighting moves. Couple that with Psychic typing, and Venusaur is going to have a bad day. You throw in Seismitoad. He brought Seismitoad with Water Absorb to potentially just destroy my rain stuff, if I brought it. So, because I have 3 waters on my team. So he brought that thing. It was a really safe bet to bring it. Escavalier. Steel typing, always good. Bug typing can be really nasty. I don't have a ton of bug resist. And just that nasty physical attack. He's brutal. Then you have Galvantula, of course, sticky web support, and he always throws Thunder because he has Compound Eyes. And if I had brought Rain, it would have been even more brutal. So, it's a really nasty matchup. I also don't really have that many things that resist Bug, surprisingly. Kofagrigus is nearly unbreakable and just has... it's got insane bulk and a really good ability, actually. It can nullify the opponent's abilities if they hit it. So, he's really good. And then, of course, Nidoking. If he gets webs up and throws in that Nidoking, it's one of the most devastating attacking Pokemon in the game. I don't know if you've ever used a Nidoking, but it's brutal. So it just has the most insane move pool out of any Pokemon. I mean, like, people talk about Electivire's move pool. Nidoking's got a better one. He's got Earth Power or Earthquake, but he's got Sheer Force, so you want to use Earth Power. He's got Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Surf if you want it, Sludge Wave. He's got, like, every good move there is. It's insane. I think he gets Thunderbolt, too. Don't quote me on that. I mean, he literally... You could probably throw a moveset together that can hit nearly everything super effectively. So that was something I was really worried about. So, for my team, I brought Crocodile, Flygon, Rotom Wash, duh, Rotom Wash goes on every team. Brought my Mega Venusaur, I brought Jirachi, and I brought Tornadus Incarnate. This team is one of my favorites. I ladder with this, and it's really good. Let me go through all the guys. So I brought Crocodile as my Scarfer. Choice Scarf Crocodile outspeeds a good majority of his team, I think. And I think that outspeeds everything. So, because he has like 92 base speed. So yeah, he outspeeds everything, can throw a really nasty knockoff or crunch, Earthquake, and I have Stone Edge as the last move. I don't know if there's a better option. I don't really use Crocodile a ton in just standard until I started this. Flygon was my defog user, and I threw some safety goggles on him just to completely block out that Jumpluff if he brought it. Flygon's really nifty because you can throw pretty much any item on it and it does well, so safety goggles was a good idea. And I also have, he's a special Flygon with Earth Power, Flamethrower, Defog, and U-Turn. I always use U-Turn if I can, just because it's a really good utility move. The only other option was really going to be Draco Meteor, which would have helped, but I assumed he was going to bring at least one, possibly two Steel types, so that's why I went with Flamethrower and all that. Yeah, Flygon here puts in a decent amount of work. He's not like the MVP of this game, obviously, but you'll see he's the MVP. But he's good, so, you know, that's all I really needed him to be. Next up, Rotom Wash is an outstanding Pokemon just as a pivot. You'll see he puts in a good bit of work, just, you know, wisping things, just pain splitting to sap them of their HP, just taking hits. He's really good. You can just send him out when you don't have anything else to send out, and he just kind of does stuff. So, Rotom, awesome. MVP of this game, I'm going to tell you right now, Mega Venusaur. Holy cow, it freaking... Mega Venusaur went in and just... I played really aggressively with him, and just kind of... Well, actually, I played... Yeah, I sent him in pretty much like half the game. It was insane. He's the best Pokemon. If there was any doubt as to why I picked him over Mega Swampert, don't have doubt. He's the best. He's just so good. And then Jirachi. Jirachi was a, I think it's called Magic Coat. It's the one that bounces back any sort of non-damaging move. The idea was I was going to be able to bounce back his webs if he tried to set them up. Didn't happen, but he's still good. He's got rocks, and then Iron Head and U-Turn. So really basic set, but it's pretty effective. He kind of had stuff to wall it, but at the same time, it wasn't really there to not be walled. It was just there to do utility stuff. And you'll see it eats up hits like nobody's business. And then the last guy is Tornadus Incarnate. Very good Pokemon. He's got a lot of offensive presence that I really appreciated. And he does some work too. So basically, oh yeah, and basically he's there to outspeed everything. Like, even if my opponent gets up webs, Tornadus can still outspeed pretty much everything he has. So, like, minus Scarfers, obviously. But the only really, in my opinion, the only amazing Scarf option he had was Nidoking, and Crocodile outspeeds that because he's Scarf too. So, we're going to go ahead and hop into the battle, and this is genuinely one of my favorite battles that I've ever had. It's insane. So, here we go now. So, I lead with my Jirachi. I expected my opponent to lead with his Galvantula, but he actually leads with his Medicham, which is fine. I go ahead and stay in and go for the U-turn, figuring I could get some damage off on him, but he goes into his Seismitoad. So, that gives me an opportunity to go right into my Venusaur and Mega Evolve and go for a knockoff here. I figured that would do a decent amount of damage to anything, and it could potentially help me if I can knock off an item. And that's exactly what happens. As he goes into his Cofagrigus, I knock off its berry, and that's going to be super good. So, now I'm going to go ahead and switch out because I don't want to get wisped. And I go into my Rotom, which doesn't really care about that. So he wisps. I go ahead and wisp him right back. I figured, okay, the idea was that I could get some damage on him consistently, because that's kind of the toughest thing about Cofagrigus, is just getting consistent damage on it. As he goes Energy Ball, which is really nasty, it hurts Rotom a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out and go into Jirachi here, as he Pain Splits, and Pain Split doesn't do a ton. I figured I could Iron Head and flinch him, and, knock off a bit of his health. So he goes ahead and switches into his Seismitoad. If I had gone for Rocks, that might have been a good idea, but whatever. Not something I'm really worried about. Now here, I wasn't sure if he would outspeed me, because I am not running much speed. I don't really know how fast Seismitoad is. I forget. It tells you, but I forget. But I didn't go for the U-turn. I just hard switch into Venusaur. Going for U-turn would have been a better option, honestly, but I, again, wasn't sure if he was running speed on it. So, Mega Venusaur is not going to want to stay in on this Cofagrigus, and I'm going to go ahead and go right back into Rotom, as he goes for the Pain Split and gives me some of his health. So that's nice. Now, I've got leftovers and he doesn't, which is going to be super good for me. It means I'm going to die slower. So I go for the Volt Switch, I go back into Jirachi, figuring that Burn will kill him, and he's not going to go for the Pain Split, because I only have like a little bit more health than he does. So I was right, he goes for Energy Ball and just dies. So that's cool. So now he goes into his Seismitoad, and I don't want to stay in on that just because of the Earth Power or whatever. So he goes, I think, Scald, and does not get the burn. He never really gets the burn on Venusaur, which is super good. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch out, predicting his, this thing. Oh god, what's it called? Escavalier, there you go. Now, I have Flamethrower on this. I was hoping he'd stay in and basically die, but he didn't. He made the good switch. I guess he figured that I might be running Flamethrower, and I was. So Seismitoad doesn't really do a ton to me, though, so he actually goes ahead and makes a really aggressive switch and goes back into this thing as I U-turn. I think he thought I would hard switch, but anyway, I'm going to go into Rotom. He does not want to get this thing burned, and I'm going to use that to my advantage and go for the Pain Split on the switch, which is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and knock off some of the health from the Seismitoad, which is super good, and get my Rotom back to a working, amount of health. So now I can go ahead and go for the Wisp. I actually miss, and that's kind of a bummer for later, but it doesn't matter a ton. So he knocks off my item, which is kind of annoying. Now, I don't want to go ahead and Wisp, I go Wisp again. I didn't want to Pain Split just because I thought he might switch out or something. Although I guess it didn't really matter. But anyway, I missed another Wisp against his Galvantula and just died to a Bug Buzz. I was going for an attack here just because I wanted to see if I can knock it out. Anyway, I go into Jirachi and go for the Magic Coat. Unfortunately, he does not try to set up webs. He just goes for the Thunder, which doesn't do very much to Jirachi, which is super good. So now I'm going to go ahead and set up my own rocks while I have this opportunity. And he actually just switches out, which is super good because that means he's going to be taking 25% every time he switches in. So he's not really going to have a ton of opportunities to set up webs. So now he makes another really aggressive switch and goes into his, that thing. And I go into Venusaur and knock off his item, which I think is a berry of some sort, as he goes Mega Horn. And it luckily is not enough to kill. It only does 47%, which means I'm going to be able to synthesis up every turn, and basically he's either going to miss or something eventually, because it doesn't have good accuracy. So I'm going to be able to get back to a good amount of health. Now here, his Medicham, he didn't Mega Evolve earlier, and I was like, maybe this thing is Scarfed. And it turns out it is. I stay in, because I'm super predicty, and go ahead and really just absolutely neuter this thing with a Sludge Bomb. And that's going to be super good, because I have Crocodile Scarfed, and he's Scarfed, but I'm faster. So, yeah, it's that's going to help facilitate a Moxie Sweep later, ideally. So now he gets into his Nidoking and really can't do a ton to me, as I go ahead and Giga Drain there and do almost half, I think. So I'm going to be able to synthesis up and not continue to lose health. Basically, I'm going to be recovering more than he's going to be able to dish out. So that's super good. I go for Giga Drain again, but he survives with 1%, and it's like, whatever. But that's okay, because I'm going to be able to go ahead and heal up, and I'm going to try to save some of my syntheses, and just go for the knockout, I think the next move here. So I just go Giga Drain. Unfortunately, I'm going to be at a little bit lower health than I'd like to be. I probably could have synthesized a couple more times. I had 2 left, so I probably could have done one more. Anyway, he goes into his, Metacham. I don't want to stay in for that, so he goes, what does he do? Oh yeah, high jump kick. Because that probably would have killed Venusaur. So I sack Jirachi. It was pretty much done by that point. So I can go into Tornadus now for free, and go for the Air Slash, which kills his Galvantula, which is super good. See, I told you I didn't need that Wisp. So that's really nice. He's not going to be able to get up webs or anything. Not that a ton of my team really gets bothered by it, but still. So he goes into his, thingy again, and goes for the Ice Punch, which I sack Flygon. I didn't really need Flygon at this point either, because Seismitoad hard walls it. So now I can go into Crocodile and go for the Earthquake. Look at this damage on the Seismitoad. It's gonna be not enough, unfortunately. Because of that leftovers, he's actually gonna be able to take another one, so I have to switch out. So I go into Tornadus and survive this Scald, don't get burned, and I actually go ahead and kill this thing with a Air Slash, which is super good. So I'm really happy with that. Tornadus did very good in this, taking out the Seismitoad and going down to Life Orb. Now here, I probably should have gone into Venusaur, because apparently this Escavalier could have potentially survived this Earthquake. It was like a really weird min-max thing, but luckily he dies and I win. Knockoff probably would have, with a Venusaur, probably would have knocked him down just to the range where I definitely would have killed, but luckily doesn't come to that and I managed to win. So that's cool. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought it was really fun. It was a really cool battle. Thank you, Matt, for subbing for Pokepiece, because we really... otherwise I wouldn't have been able to have a battle. So guys, don't hate on Pokepiece for having to drop out. It's, it's life. It happens. But, check out Matt. He's a very good Pokemon player. And, obviously very quality content on the PICA page. So, let's go ahead and actually look at my next matchup against the Denver Dashers. That's going to be next week. What's his face? Jesus, right? He's pretty tough. So let's look at his team. Oh gosh, where is it? Here it is. So he's got Mega Lopunny, Keldeo, Suicune, Dragalge, Tangrowth, Regirock, Rotom, Tornadus Therian, Reuniclus, Zoroark, and Typhlosion. Looking at that, his main threats are going to be the Keldeo, the Dragalge, potentially Tangrowth is a defensive thing. Suicune, same defensive thing. Horrible. Hate it. And that Tornadus. Tornadus is going to be probably pretty big. And so is Zoroark if he uses it. Mega Lopunny, kind of underwhelming as Megas go, in my opinion. Maybe you guys have a different opinion, but I think Jirachi should be able to take that down pretty good. Keldeo is kind of annoying, just in terms of, it's got really gnarly stabs. Fighting in water, really good stab moves. I think Venusaur, once I Mega, should be able to handle that no problem. Same for the Suicune. Dragalge, I have stuff to deal with that. I got Flygon and stuff. Tangrowth, that could be annoying, but again, Mega Venusaur. Regirock, Mega Venusaur. Tornadus could be a problem. Rotom. I'm not super worried about Rotom. It doesn't have as good stats as Rotom Wash or, any of the other forms. And that Ghost typing can really mess him up if I bring Crocodile. So, watch out for that. Reuniclus, Crocodile can really destroy that thing. Zoroark, not super bulky. I should be able to kill it. And Typhlosion, he's definitely not going to bring it. I have 3 water types that I can sub in, so, anyways, that's next week. Should be super fun. Can't wait to fight you, Jesus, and your Denver Dashers. Yeah, cool. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week for another PICA video. Later!